So go ahead, everyone, and get your ingredients out. Like I said, you're going to need a baking pan. This is my favorite, a Pyrex, because you can bake in it, and once you bake it, it's really easy to clean. It just wipes right on out. So get that baking pan ready. If you don't have a baking Pyrex pan, you can use a glass dish or a metal dish. So we're going to go ahead and get started. Let's go ahead and get all of our seasonings out as well. How was you guys' day today? All right, so we want to get our garlic, granulated garlic, sea salt, Lawry's, and pepper. All right, so these are the essentials for cooking chicken. You want to have your pepper, sea salt, Lawry's, and granulated garlic. So have those there. Keep it basic because you're going to add flavor to it. So you don't want to overdo it. But these are like the general basics that we use with our chicken. Put this back over here. All right, so we've got all of that out. And let me go ahead and send me some hearts if you guys have your pans ready and have those ready so we can start cooking this chicken. Put your pan out. Now, we also needed our cooking spray and our butter. So, this is another best friend you need to have in your kitchen is the pan. You want to spray it on, usually what I do when I'm baking, I want to spray it on the lid, because when you bake the chicken, sometimes it can stick to the top and take all the pretty color off. So you want to go ahead and spray that. So I just spray that first at the top, make sure that's really good there. And you really don't have to spray the Pyrex, but I spray it to prevent the sticking. But since you're going to do a liquid, it's going to keep it from sticking at the bottom. But if you want, you can always spray the very bottom of it, and that will coat really good. Just set that to the side, out of your way. Here's the next. All right. Now, we have all of our spices here. I'm going to set those to the side. And we have our butter. I buy butter in bulk, so I have large butter. You want to use unsalted butter, because when you're flavoring your food, you don't want to use salted butter because it's already salty and you're going to be adding salt. Salt is not to season it up too salty. You use salt as the incorporator. The salt is going to pull all of the flavors together into the meal. So I want to thank everyone for joining us who started a little bit late. I'm going to give you a little bit more time to get your pans ready. Right after you guys get your pans ready, go ahead and send me some hearts and let me know you have your pans ready. And I'm going to start with this chicken. Now I'm doing this chicken straight from scratch, straight out of the pack and everything. So let's go ahead and get that started. Here is the chicken. I like to buy my chicken in bulk. For those of you who know me, you know I'm a Costco girl. So get your chicken fryer. These are a really good deal because you can get like 2 chicken fryers for like $6, $7. That's 2 family meals with that. And what I like to do is I like to take the chicken out, and because it's sealed there with the air. And let me get my scissors here. Just cut one of these out. I'm not going to use both of them. Okay, ready there. I'm going to put this one back away. You want to get a paring knife if you're not really comfortable with the knife to cut your chicken up. Some of you guys have kitchen shears. You're welcome to use those as well. I don't have any at the moment. Mine broke. But I'm going to use my paring knife. Now, we're cooking with chicken, so it's going to be a lot of bleaching going on too. So you just go ahead and take your chicken over to the sink, and I'm going to open it up and bring it back into a bowl. I'm going to use foil for right now. Wipe that off. And I'm going to get my bleach wipes out also, because you want to keep your counter clean. You're working with chicken. Wipe that down. Alright, so I'm using the foil so you can see what I'm doing with the chicken there and you don't miss a step. Did you guys have a good day today? It was actually a really nice day. The weather was really nice. I guess that's just a California perk you have for the weather being nice in the middle of winter, right? Okay. I'm going to open up, so take your chicken and open it up however you like to get it started. I just usually cut around the packaging to get it out of the container. Alrighty. I love cooking with fryers. They're called fryers because I guess they're meant to be cut up and fried, but I like to bake them just whole and make a good meal out of it. Make sure you rinse it real good. Scrub the wings to get the extra feathers off. Inside the cavity, sometimes you'll have gizzards or neck bone in there. You want to take that out. You can use the neck bone for gravy. And just go ahead and rinse that out really good. Run the water all the way through to the cavity. Now, if I have lemons on hand, I like to take and I scrub the chicken with a lemon to help you get the feathers off. Let it drip dry there. Get all the extra fluid off. Alright, I'm putting it down here on my, this is the top, the breast. This is the bottom, the back. Gonna be lots of hand washing today. Okay. Have your pan close by. Before you start with the chicken, you want to dress it up. A lot of people just put it in there, cook it, and you have to clean it up. All right. You can use shears. I have a paring knife. And you got the chicken. There's lots of pieces you need to clean off when you're cleaning the chicken. Got the bum and the back of the legs there. And then the front, you got extra neck bone. So we'll start with the front. So I take my paring knife and I just kind of clean it up. There's lots of extra skin on there. Cut that up and clean it. Be careful if you're not comfortable with a knife. You can go ahead and use, you kind of go in there under the bone and turn it, and it's gonna cut itself. Okay, I got that neck bone out of there. Cleared it up a little bit. All right. Gives you a little bit clean area there. Now, for the back, got lots of extra meat there. So you want to trim all that up. Some people like to eat it. No, that's extra. That's all fat. This is all extra fat that you don't need to eat. So you want to kind of try to clean that up. So you can take the skin there with the knife and I face it up. But not too close because you don't want to uncover the skin there. You want to keep it covered. And trim this up. See, that's extra fat. You don't need that. If you have kitchen shears, that makes it a little bit easier. Or a boning knife. Just trim that off. See that how much better you can see in there now? But you didn't uncover this. You just had to take that away. You want to trim the other side up. Now see, look at all the extra fat. That's all fat. You don't need that. Take that off. Lay it parallel against the back of the bone and trim it off. And of course, last but not least, the bum. So with the bum, you got the 2 cavities right there of the side of it. When your knife down there, see? Cut that out. Done. It's cleaned up. Turn it over. You have extra skin, like this is fatty skin. You want to take that out too. Just extra fat. A lot of the time they shoot the chickens up to mature them faster, and it creates that fatty skin tissue. If you have too much at the neck, you want to trim that as well too. So you want to look that up. See a lot of fat in there? That's a lot of fatty. You don't need that. Because you already have the skin on the chicken that's going to make the juice for you. So you just kind of like trim that up. All right. See how nice she looks? You can take your hand. Let me get this knife rinsed off. All right. There's a lot of feather on there. I don't know if you guys can see it, that the yellow. You can check and rub that off if you want. Give it a good rinse again after you've trimmed it up. And you can rinse that feather off. That's feather that's left on there. You want to rinse it in cold water. If you can't handle the cold, make it lukewarm where it's like kind of warm, but all the way cold. Because you don't want to cook it in hot water, because that accelerates the bacteria in the chicken. All right. So you got it all trimmed up, nice there. It looks really nice and trimmed up. And you don't want it to be too wet. That's the first part. Now, if you want to just bake the chicken, basic bake, pretend it's going to be cut up, because I don't know what pieces that you guys use for your chicken. So we're going to do it that way. All right. Thank you for joining us if you just came in. So we're gonna cook a chicken tonight, so it can be nice and tender. All right, so it's ready. It's clean. It's wiped down. You got the wings there, and you can do one or two things. Now, if you're gonna make the bird, if I'm making the bird as a regular bird, then I'm gonna stuff a half an onion inside the cavity to get the flavor out, and I'm gonna rub it down with butter. But we're doing the marinade, so we're gonna do it different. So what I like to do is I like to clean it up, and I like to season the back. This is the bottom part. This is actually the top of the chicken if you think of it, because the breasts are on the bottom, and this is the back. So I like to season that first, because we cook it with the breast up. So go ahead and get our pan ready. Get your pan ready. Put it to the side. Okay. Now remember, when you cook with salt is a drying agent. So salt is going to dry out the chicken if you put too much salt. What you also want to use salt for is salt is an incorporator. So once you add all your flavors, if you put just enough salt, then you can taste every flavor. If you can't taste every flavor, then you don't have enough salt. So we're going to start with garlic. I like to use granulated garlic because it doesn't have salt added in it. And you get the real good garlic flavor inside the chicken. You can get this at Costco. So we're going to go ahead and remember to do the back side because we're going to cook that on the bottom. And season it up. I go heavy with the garlic because it doesn't have a lot of salt added, so you're okay with that. Can you see how it's like almost dressed completely with garlic? Almost yellow. Okay. All right. Next, we're going to add our pepper because pepper gives it a little bit of spice to it. I'm going to use a fancy one. It's also the pepper from Costco. You get it in a little 2-pack with the pink Himalayan salt, which is really good. The reason why these is because there's different salts. I can talk more about that with you if you like. But this is a sea salt. It's more so for the flavor, not like regular table salt, which is iodized salt, which is used to help prevent thyroid. That's why they usually use that salt. And then this salt is more of the flavor without all the iodine in it, if that makes sense. So we're going to do our pepper next. Pepper it up. I like to go heavy. Some people say I'm heavy-handed with the pepper, but it adds that spice. Pepper's a little bit spicy. All right. Now, my favorite is the Larry's. You can get this at Costco too. Okay. So I want to go easy on that. This is just for the flavor of it. I'm going to put a little bit. So just kind of sprinkle a little bit and dab it there. That's it. Now, and the other one I have, this is for to add a little bit more salt to it with all the salt that this has, if that makes sense. The sea salt. So salt that up, but not too much, because you don't want it to dry out the chicken. So this side is done. Looks really good. Salt and peppered up. And I'm going to go ahead and put it face down into the pan. And we'll move it back so you guys can see it. Get your pan ready. And this is the back side. So I like to do the back side first. And put the back side down into the pan. Can you guys see that? Okay. We're going to get this and put this away. Kind of help some of the counter space. Because we're working with chicken. I apologize. I wash my hands a lot because you never can be too careful. So I'm going to wipe this down with paper towel to dry some of the excess juice. Then I'm going to come right behind it with my Clorox bleach wipes. Push everything down. Because I was on the bare counter, I want to make sure to stay clean with the chicken. All right. Okay, so now we're going to do the front and the breast. The bottom of the chicken is brown meat. So it's going to be actually more moist than the top, which is the breast. So in order to keep the breast moist, the liquid that you're going to add, not too much liquid, just a little bit liquid to wet the bottom, will keep the steam to incorporate the moisture into the chicken. Because the bottom is going to be moist already. Now, once you always notice, don't add too much liquid because the chicken's going to add its own juice as it cooks. So we're going to start the same process on the top of the chicken. Go ahead and put that garlic on there. You can be friendly with the garlic. If you don't have coarse pepper, that's okay. You can use regular pepper. Now, remember we're doing a marinade on this chicken, so I just like to do just a little bit of flavor depending on the type of marinade that you use. Sometimes you don't have to do the salt and pepper, but that's how I like to make my chicken. And we did the Larry's next. Not too much salt, because remember, salt dries out meat. And the pink salt. Okay. Next, I like to get myself some butter. We'll probably say a quarter of a cup of butter. And you put that in there, inside the cavity. About a quarter of a cup of butter right here. Now, the reason why I put it inside the cavity is because the flavor is going to come through the chicken with the butter. I can put it on the bottom of the pan. I can put it on the top of the chicken. Now, on the top of the chicken is going to help brown up the skin. But we're doing a moist chicken as requested. So I'm going to put this into the back of the cavity. So you want to lift the cavity up and stick the butter in there. Okay. All right. Got that washed up there. Now, I also like to marinate my chicken, so I'm not sure what type of marinade you guys had. I have to get your marinade of choice. For marinades, you can do a few things. An easy, simple marinade, right there. Italian dressing. Why? Because it's flavorful and it's acidic. So the trick of the marinade is to have an acid, which would be like tomato or vinegar, to break down the meat. And that's how when people marinate it, it's so good, because the acid in the marinade breaks down the meat. Let me get another one for you. So, another one, if you're not wanting to make your own sauce and you want to use it, Larry's makes really good marinades. So this is the lemon pepper one. I couldn't find the chili lime that like the picture. So, I got lemon pepper. And what you want to do is you want to go ahead and put your marinade in there. Open it up. I'm going to do a lemon pepper for that. You can do a lot of different things with your chicken. You can do a marinade. You can do a dry rub. A dry rub, if I did a dry rub, I wouldn't put all the seasoning in it, because the dry rub has so much flavor in it and it cooks into the chicken. So now I'm going to take my lemon pepper and I'm going to drizzle it around it like that, so it can evenly spread itself, almost like a thick coat over the top. Now you don't want to put the whole bottom, put too much in there, because remember, the chicken's going to make its own juice. Just lightly coat the top like that. This smells so good. What did we use? Maybe almost just over a half a bottle. Now, you can go ahead and pop it in the oven and cook it, but I like to marinate overnight. So if you let this bad boy marinate, this is going to saturate into the chicken a little bit more and look like that. So it's thickly coated. And you're going to go ahead and put that in there, so that looks really good with the marinade on that. And the reason why we sprayed the top of the lid is because once the meat starts to cook, it will stick. So we're going to start the oven. Want to bake it at 350 degrees. And we can bake it. So if you guys have any questions or anything, this is basically how you do it. The trick to keeping it moist is that got a little bit of liquid in there. So I use the Marinate liquid. If you can see down in there, it's kind of like not at the complete bottom. And I want to put just a little bit of water. Sorry about all that noise. Maybe like a quarter of a cup of water, not too much. Just enough to wet the bottom. Pour it through the back of the cavity, not to break up the marinade too much. Just where you just see liquid floating. You don't want it to be all high, because then that makes it a different kind of chicken. So go ahead and take it like that. Now, before we get finished, and I should have did this before I put the marinade, I wasn't thinking. You want to tuck your wings back. And you take and you fold it back behind and tuck it. There we go. These bad boys go here, tuck down. Let me know if you guys have any questions. So I took that marinade off. I want to take a little bit more. Why does your baked chicken always come out dry? Do you put liquid in it when you make it? You have to seal it in. That's why you need a lid. If you don't have a Pyrex pan like this, you can use a regular pan. Cover it with foil. And it's going to keep the moisture inside of the meat. Now see how it almost touches? But since I sprayed it, it's not going to take away from that when I take the lid off. Okay. Then you just place that in the oven at 350 degrees for about an hour. If the chicken's a little bit larger, maybe an hour and a half. But it should take you about an hour to cook the chicken. It's full of juice. It's juicy and moist. I like to cook mine a little bit longer, so when you touch the bone, it falls off the bone. So this was our chicken tutorial here. I'm going to go ahead and bake this, or if you want to, marinate it overnight and make it your dinner for Saturday. Yes, keep it covered the whole time. Because what you did is you already incorporated all of the flavor over the body of it. And when you put the butter on the inside, the butter is going to cook from the inside out of the bird. Remember, there's flavor all around the bird, and then you also have marinade. So that's all cooking into the bird, and it's circulating while it's covered. Cook it covered the whole time. If you take it off, all the moisture and the heat and the steam comes out. But if you keep it covered, then it will be tender. So if you're cooking it on the stove, the trick to cooking it on the stove, say you want to cook a dinner and you want to have a couple of breasts, you want to cook them on the stove, you got to have the lid. If you cook it too high, it's going to be tough. So you got to cook it slowly, almost like sear it off, and then put it in the pan with not too much liquid. But it has to be enough liquid to keep the moisture going. But if you let it cook down, it's gonna burn slightly on the chicken. Keep it a little bit moisture in there. Keep the lid on it. Cook it slowly. Almost at like 3 or 4 if you have a gas stove. If you have a electric, you want to go with a medium setting. Low medium. Not all the way high medium. And that's how you want to cook it on the stove to keep it moist. Always keep it covered. Any other questions that I can answer for you guys tonight? Okay, well, I'm going to put this bird into the oven at 350 degrees for about an hour and a half. I will post later how she turned out. If there's anything else you guys want me to cook, let me know. It's hashtag AskChefMom. if you guys have any food type questions. And yes, this live, I'm going to upload it and you will be able to rewatch it over and over again. So if you guys have any questions, it's hashtag AskChefMom. And I'm here to answer any food questions you have. I get a lot of the dry chicken questions a lot. Or if I have this, and that, what can I make out of it? Or I made this and I messed it up, how do I fix it? So just consider this like, you're very welcome. So just consider this like a lesson. This is something that I love to do. If you guys have any questions, consider it like a advice column for food, you know. So I'm glad you guys checked in. Let me know if you guys want to see more lives or what you want to see in those lives. If you want to cook some dessert, we can do that. Now I can go ahead and put this in the oven. I was also thinking about making something else. I don't know how you guys feel about that. I was interested in making some apple stuffed egg rolls. All right. Well, what came first for Michael, the chicken or the egg? If you read the Bible, 2 of each animal went into Noah's Ark. So I believe that the chicken came before the egg, and once the chickens came over on the ark, they laid eggs. So that's my answer on that, Mike. I want to thank you guys for stopping by and supporting my channel. Without no you, there's no me. And I'm going to go ahead and put this in the oven, and I might come back later with something else. Let me guys know. So like I said, feel free. This is an open channel, and I love you guys all. Thank you for stopping by. Have a good night.